Hi friends, in this HTML video we will see some basic fundamentals of HTML and see how the HTML pages is created and how we can write the coding in HTML pages. Okay, first of all we will see that what is HTML. HTML stands for Hypertext Markup Language. HTML is basically not a programming language, it's a markup language. And now we will see in further slides that what is markup language and what is the difference between markup language and programming language. Markup language is basically depends upon tags, some markup tags, and we will also see that what is the tags and what is the meaning of tags and why we use the tags in markup languages. At that point we have to remember that HTML is totally maximum based on the tags. Okay. Same thing which I have already told, that HTML is used markup tags to describe the web pages. All the information in HTML are kept in some tags and contained. Now the next, HTML code is parsed, not compiled or interpreted. It means any language's code. Sometimes it compiles like C, C++, C Sharp and other languages, and some codes are interpreted, somewhat like DOS command prompt, which compile line by line code and execute them, and C and C++ compiles the whole segment of code in once and find the errors and translate it into the other executable code. But HTML code are not compiled, they are parsed. Parsing means line by line code. Parser means HTML parser read the code line by line and produce the output without any compilation. Now next, some basic features of HTML. First of all, as I have already told, that HTML is a tag based language. Now what is this tag? HTML tag are keywords surrounded by some angle bracket, like opening angle bracket HTML and closing angle bracket. Next, HTML tag normally comes in pair, like opening angle bracket B, closing angle bracket, and opening angle bracket / B closing bracket. Now this one is known as opening tag and this one is known as closing tag, and B is the name of tag, like here is HTML is a tag name. Okay, now moving to the next. The first tag pair is the start tag and second is the end tag, and these tags are also known as opening tag and closing tag. This one is opening and this one is closing tag. Now next, HTML is error free language. Okay, this is very important point. Error free language means HTML doesn't give you any error. As I have already told that HTML code is parsed, not compiled. So parsing doesn't give any type of errors. It is developed for designing the static web pages. Means whatever we have seen on the pages, like some images, some content, some formatted content, like some colorful text and all these things. All these static operations or static view is created by HTML. It is supported by all the browser, because HTML is basically used for designing a web pages, and web pages are viewed always in browser. So every browser must understand the HTML tags, and every browser can parse the HTML codings. Okay, HTML documents equal to web pages means if we talk about the HTML site, then HTML documents is also known as the web pages, because HTML document describe all the functionality, all the features which is viewable to the users on the web page. And HTML document contains mainly two things. One is HTML text and another one is plain text. Plain text is basically information which is given by the HTML page to the users. Suppose any web page we have seen which gives you some information, like for example this is a MaxTech training website, and you can see that there is a heading, company name, which is color combination of some dark red and black colors, and you can view the design, and this is some content. So basically this color combination and this design and these designs are totally based on HTML text, and this is the content. Means this web page basically contain the HTML and contents. Some of these effects are due to the CSS cascaded style sheets. We will see this in further videos. If suppose I will go to the view and page source. Now here is this is the maximum code is the HTML, like HTML head, link, head, close, body, form. These are the HTML tags. So how they will create it and what is this, all this thing we will see further. I will demonstrate all the things. Now come to the next. HTML documents are also called web pages, as I have shown you that MaxTech training websites web pages. Now I will show you how to create HTML pages and how to run them as a web page. Suppose for creating a web page, I will just make a folder, an empty folder on my desktop, test HTML. Suppose I give some other name, HTML demo. Okay, and after that HTML is a very basic language, that's why it doesn't require any software, any specified parser or anything else. It only required a browser, which is already every operating system has a browser, whether it is Internet Explorer or Firefox or any other you can use. So we can code the HTML anywhere, any simple text editor, like I use Notepad to type this. Okay, first of all I have opened a Notepad and I have saved this file to my folder which is kept on the desktop, HTML demo. Here is my folder, and I will give test.html and save as a type all files. Here is one thing important, name we can give anything, but the extension of any HTML page is HTML or simple HTML. At that time I will give HTML and save this file to my HTML demo folder. Save. Okay, now in this HTML demo folder we will see that one web page is created. Now if I double click on this folder, it will open in Mozilla Firefox, because my default browser is Mozilla Firefox, so this web page is open in this particular browser. If you want to see this in any other browser, then you can open with Internet Explorer or any other browsers which you have already installed in your system. Now suppose this is our notepad. Here we will write the code, and for this code we will see, suppose I have write something this and save it, and I open test it out. That we can see here whatever I have written on this notepad, it is treated as a document in HTML page. Okay, but it is not a meaningful things. Okay. Suppose it is also closed, it is also closed. Now I have this file. If I double click on this, it just open it directly to the browser, but I want to code in notepad, so I will right click, open with notepad. So here is the code file. Okay, and double click and open the browser. Now I will code in this file and see the output in this browser. Okay. Now as we all know that HTML is tag based language, so most of the things are in HTML are tagged and other things are the content. So we will see that how the tags works and how we can create the tags. First of all, I write HTML and HTML. Okay, yeah, this is the basic fundamental tags: HTML open and HTML close. One more thing to remember, that the HTML is totally case insensitive, means we can write like this. This is also the same as the small HTML, or we can have HTML opening tag in capital and closing tag in small. They all will work, but the best thing is that use the same format, whether you use capital, whether you use small, doesn't matter. Okay. In between this, I will write a head tag and close this head tag. While doing the programming, we have to remember some things, or we have to follow some features so that the our program gets well executed, or we can understand easily it, that the indentation and lining and spacing, because HTML is spaced free language, so we can put HTML like this, like this, it doesn't matter, but we have to put HTML tags as such that we can easily recognize this tag is open. Suppose HTML is open here and closed here, head is open here, head is closed here, and head tag is inside the HTML tag. So I have given some indentation, proper indentation here. Okay. Now next, body tag, and close the body tag. Okay. Every time when we write some code, we have to save this code, and after saving this code, we will see the output in browser. For viewing the output, just refresh the browser, or by clicking the F5 we can refresh this. Now see, I have written this code of line or some text, but here is nothing happens in this browser, because this is a basic structure of HTML page. Means we have to write these things in HTML page every time when we required. Sometime head does not come, but most of the time head and body tag should be there. Now what is this head and body tag? To see more tags, before we will see some more things, first of all I would like to make some understanding of this browser. What is this browser? Browser is basically a program which views the or which parse the HTML and other some languages like JavaScript and or some scripting languages, but at the time we will talk only about the HTML. This browser consists some particular area, like this is known as the title bar, where the browser's title or web page title comes, and next this is the menu bar, where some menu, edit, view, history, markups, and this is all total depends upon the different type of browsers. If suppose you use some other browsers, so maybe these links will be changed, but some menu were there. And here this is known as URL of any web page, and this particular text box, this is known as address bar, where this URL is written. It gives a unique path of any web page, like test.html, or test.html page is saved in C users Harish, which is my computer name, a desktop HTML demo which we have created on our desktop, and this is the test.html file. Okay. Now after that some more things are there, but at the time they are not we are not worried about this. So come to the next point. Now this white color blank space is known as the body of web form or body of HTML. Here any code we have written to view the users is comes here. And lastly, finally, this particular bar is known as status bar, where you can see a different type of status, like some downloading is going on, or same time at the time here is written a done means our web page is totally downloaded and viewed, but I have not written anything meaningful code or meaningful content here, so that's why there is nothing in this browser. Don't save it. Now suppose I write some text, hello what, or something, hello how are you. And I save it and come to the browser, and now I refresh it. Okay, hello how are you, miss. Look at this. In body tag I have written some normal content and save it, and come to the page and refresh it, and you will see in the body portion this text comes. Okay, now so how we can do this? Now see one more thing. As I have already told that HTML is spaced free language, so if suppose I give this text here and somewhat here, but after saving this I refresh it, there is no change. Means this HTML this particular content is viewable at the same place. So it means it doesn't matter that whether you are giving some space or not here. It is totally space free language. Okay, let them stay here. Now this is about the body tag, and look this, I have written some title tag, and I have write my first web page. and close the title tag and save it. Remember that I have already told this thing that it is space free, so if I write this tag like this, or which I have written already in this, so it doesn't matter, it looks or it works the same. It depends upon our convenience that how we can understand our code better. Suppose I will understand it more conveniently because title is given in a single line. Okay, fine. Now come to this browser. Now in the title bar, here is Mozilla Firefox, which is the browser's company name or browser name. Now suppose look at this portion, I refresh it. Okay, my first web page, and after that Mozilla Firefox. So we are not worried about this. This is our title of web page. So we can write title tag in head tag, in between head tag, and set any title of our web page. Okay, likewise this is outside the body portion. So mostly this type of works are performed in the head tag. Suppose title are settled down in head tag, and suppose we want to include some files like JavaScript and CSS. This will see we will see this in further videos. So to include these files in our HTML page, we use this head tag. Means all the tags which perform this particular task, suppose including task and scripted task, and suppose we want to write some JavaScript functions, and all these things will become in the head tag. And in the body tag, mostly the content which we want to see in our body portion we will write here, and some more tags are also there. So come to the next portion. Now suppose this tag is black colored, okay, and size, default size is also given. We have not mentioned any default size, colored or anything else, and we have also not mentioned that the color of this body will become white. So means every browser has its default setting. Means default settings tells that content color, content size and body color, and it is already defined in every browsers. So if I have not mentioned anything, then it will give a default color like this, and like this body background color. Okay, fine. Suppose we will see some basic tags, like suppose I will show you some tag. Suppose I want to see some tags, or some contents in bold. So like I write there B tag and close B tag. Save it and refresh. Hello, or hello is become a bold, and this is normal tag. Means to change any format of content we use tag. Now this B tag is open and B tag is cold. B stands for bold. Now from this opening tag to the end tag, closing tag, all the text are affected by this bold tag. Means this particular content is become bold. Okay, fine. Similarly, one more thing, because HTML is spaced free language. So if I write this thing like this, because I want that hello should come before the how are you, or how are you come after the next line of hello. But when I save it and come to and refresh, there is no effect. Refresh, just because HTML doesn't understand that you have entered and go to the next line. So to do this, whether you write this in same line, just to use a br and self closed tag. This is called self tag close. Means most of the tags are opened and closed, but few of the tags are self closed tags, so we need not to close them explicitly. It is self closed. Okay, this br tag stands for break. It breaks the line. So after saving this, if you see, okay, hello comes in the first line and how are you comes in the second line. Okay, fine. Now next, one br I have put it here and come to the next line. Suppose I want to write some underline code or underline code u and some text and u tag close, save and see. Okay, this some text is underlined. Okay, so we can use u tag for underlining the text. Suppose I have written some br. One more thing that remember that, suppose I forget to close this tag, then br this browser automatically understands that the br tag is self closed. So if you have not mentioned this, it doesn't give any problem. But as we know that the HTML is error free language, it means if we done any type of mistake, suppose I have opened u tag but closed by mistake, I written is y, but still I save this and refresh it, there is no effect, there is no problem, there is nothing like error is this. Okay, so now if browser is not giving any error, then the user responsibility is more to write correct code. So try to write every time some correct code, because sometime may be possible that at the time this code is not giving any problem, but when code length is increased, or we will have some different codes and loads many codes are there and tags are there, then may be possible that over web pages will give some problem, not the error but some problem, that we want to do some underline but it's not going to, and some time its format is not correct, and these problems will come. Now one more tag are there, I tag, I for italic, some italic text, this is I. Text doesn't matter, anything you will write in this, it will come in the italic. Save and refresh. Look, this some italic tag, it comes, it looks like an italic text, it's some tilde text. Okay, now suppose I want to write some text which is underlined as well as italic, so I can write this same this italic tag, I will write u tag and close this u tag and save it and come to the browser and see, here is the italic and underline tag. And suppose I want to do this text bold also, then this is, save this and see by refreshing this. Now this some metallic text is become bold and also underlined. Okay, so like this we can apply some text on some text. Here is one thing we need to remember, that indentation should be proper and nesting also should be proper. Nesting like this I tag is open inside the U tag and this U tag is open inside the B tag. It means this I tag must be closed before the U tag. Means I tag must come fully in the U tag like this, and this U tag must be closed within a B tag. Okay, like this. So the nesting is proper.